Oh, hello. It's Susie from Esoteric Trading Solutions again. I hope you're all well, and I hope you're all living the life that you want to live, and you're all happy, because life is really short and you just have to be happy. I thought I'd talk about technicals at the moment, because the technicals look pretty interesting, and some of the coins have gone, a fair way. Very much Bitcoin particularly, is at $8,000 US at the moment, as we all know, and it does look very good. Zimbabwe is trading Bitcoin at 15,000 US because there's been currency collapse over there, but we also see it in Kenya and Chile as well, where there's been currency collapse. So it's one reason why people buy Bitcoin or cryptocurrency over and above their own local currency, because the local currency is collapsing by more, and they see cryptocurrency as being more stable and with it and a store of value clearly. So there is an arbitrage there. You could literally buy Bitcoin on Bittrex or Bitfinex at $8,000 and sell it in Zimbabwe at 15,000, and you'd make yourself a nice tiny sum there. Technically, Bitcoin does look very good. There's no reason to sell this market. It just looks like it's heading to 9,000 or at least 10,000 to me, and it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. When there's been a couple of billionaires come out and said, look, it's going to go higher, it looks like it really is. The institutions are starting to buy it up clearly, and there's a lot of Bitcoin funds that are being established, and even index funds. I think Van Eyck was talking about index funds as well, which means pretty much with an index fund, as the price of Bitcoin goes up higher, they have to keep buying Bitcoin to manage against the index. Otherwise, they keep shortening against the index. If they don't keep buying as the currency or the crypto keeps going up. So with index funds, if the market does rise, they have to keep buying the Bitcoin as the market rises. If Bitcoin starts to sell off, they have to sell Bitcoin in their fund as Bitcoin actually reduces. So the technicals still look very good to me, and if you have a look at just the longer term charts, it looks like Bitcoin to me is pretty much going to 9,000. So I probably just say to people, look, again, it's up to you. This is just trading education, but pretty much I think that the mantra is out there. Any pullback in Bitcoin at the moment, people are just buying it, and it seems to have a lot more legs on it for the upside at this stage. So it does look very, very good. Any pullback, as you can see here, has been bought, and it's all very strong. Volume's been increasing, and the MACDs and the accumulation indexes are all on the rise. So it does look very good. Right here we've got resistance, but it's past that resistance level now, so resistance has become support at 7930, and essentially it looks like it's going to go higher to me. Bitcoin Cash is pretty interesting as well. Bitcoin Cash, we did see some very volatile days when it got up to 28,000 US, and there is a lot of talk in the Chinese market. They want this to become Bitcoin rather than Bitcoin itself. It has been very, very volatile. I was trading this, and my goodness, it was just incredibly volatile. It was like 40 pip spreads, and all of a sudden it was going down, then it was going up. It was a really, really hard market to trade. But this thing is hitting a resistance level across here. And, the resistance level I keep seeing is 1385, and it needs to break that to be convincing for it to move higher. So at the moment, it's still hitting that level, and it's not going on with it. But I would, for my own trading, I'm thinking about buying it around 1189 with a fairly tight stop loss at 1159, and basically see it where it goes. The stop loss is fairly tight, keeping it tight because it's going to tell you one way or the other, and hoping for a break to the upside. On the 4 rally, it is giving me a buy on the parabolic buy, and it is hitting like a support level. So it looks fairly good, but again, with the Ichimoku, I can never say that, there is very high resistance level here and across here as well. So it's really got to break that 1385, but I think just keep a close eye on it, because again, the South Korea and the Chinese might give it another run for its money, because they really are adamant that they want this to be the new Bitcoin. But we have seen a lot of volatility in that. Another one that's been looking very good is SAN USD. I don't know anything about this fundamentally, but it has doubled in value in the last couple of days. It's gone from literally 20, 25 cents to 40. And again, this this looks pretty good as well. I've tried to find some fundamental news on this, and I can't see anything. But, you know, if I was going to do anything on this, I'd probably buy it around 40 if I can get in with, again, another tight stop loss at 38.53 to see if it gets to that 53.75, which it seems to be where it's targeting, that 53.75. I'm only looking at it on the technical picture. I'm not looking at all. I don't know what it does or anything like that. So that's pretty much what I'd be doing. IOTA, again, looks really, really good. I saw the move on this thing, golly, when it was at 54 cents and I didn't do anything about it, which is really frustrating. It does look like it's getting towards $1. I think over $1 this thing is a sell. So I've got a sell order to sell IOTA at 106. If she gets there with a stop loss at 112, expecting this thing to move back to about 85 cents. I think it's pretty extended. It has gone a fair way very, very quickly. I think over $1 it's going to struggle. So my order is to sell the sell order at 106, stop loss at 112, and probably for it to come back to about 85 cents. I keep these stop losses pretty tight because, you know, one way or the other, if I'm wrong or right, it doesn't cost me too much money on the risk side. Litecoin, for me, looks like it's getting close to a sell here. I think it's going to struggle anything over 72. So I'm looking to sell Litecoin at 71.75 with a stop loss at 72.05 for a move down to 69.72. Has done very well since it got listed on the additional Korean exchanges like Coin One and the like. But I think for my money, I'm probably looking for the sell on this. And again, it's a fairly tight stop loss. The risk-return ratio is 3-to-1, which is not a bad story. So I think it's starting to get a little bit overextended. So I'm a happy seller on that. Dash, again, Dash to me, I've got sell signals on Dash. Momentum starting to reduce on the MACDs. The accumulation index here is starting to go red. I think this has gone a long way really fast. This thing went literally from 350 down to up to about 500, and it has gone a long way very quickly. And I have read, you know, recently that, you know, even though it's supposed to be a privacy coin, federal investigators or the FBI can trace who's holding these coins. They don't actually tell you who it is, how they do it, but they can trace the holders of these coins, which is pretty interesting. But look, anyway, that's the fundamental. With the technical side, I tend to think there's big resistance at 455, and I would probably be happy to sell in small. What I mean by small is half my normal position at this level, 446.94, wherever the market is, with a stop loss at 455, expecting it to head down to that 400-ish level down here, the support level, 414, for a risk-return ratio of 3-to-1. I generally like to have a 3-to-1 risk-return ratio at least. So again, I've got the parabolic on the 4-hourly telling me it's a sell. Everything else is starting to move down. The volumes are starting to move down, plus the MACDs and everything else. So I probably would look to sell that. Neo, again, I'm happy seller here. Again, parabolic is telling me it's a sell. Price action's red. It's starting to move down. All the MACDs and the accumulation index are moving down. I'd be seller there at 41.50, stop loss at 43.52, expecting this to get to about 38, 37.5, something like that. And then looking at Ethereum. Ethereum looks good to me technically. I think this thing could probably, it needs to get through a resistance of, what are we looking at here? 386. But I think if it comes back a little bit, look to buy at 348 with a stop at 346.80. Next resistance level 386 if it gets through that 400. So I'd be looking to buy Ethereum around that 346. Tight stop. 348, tight stop at 346.80 for hitting resistance at 386 to 400. ETC looks pretty good to me as well. Ethereum Classic, again, this one buy, pretty much buy at market, stop at 1793, heavy resistance at 1929 if it gets through there, 2156. And very much going through to Quantum. Quantum has done a lot. I think there's a fairly big resistance level at 15. We're looking at 1562, something like that. So I'd be looking to sell at 1542, stop loss at 1562. If it breaks 1562, that's a break to actually get long, because A break at 1562, say 1580, I'd be getting long. For it to go high to 1972. And I think that's pretty much it. So just very quickly, it's just my technical story. If you'd like to donate for my hard work, I'd be really very appreciative. There's my Ripple address. Don't forget there's a Ripple tag address as well, otherwise it gets lost in the ether. And there's a Litecoin address. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope this helps.